Target these 6 players in fantasy football for 2025. They are guaranteed to explode in this season, and I saved the #1 best sleeper quarterback for the end. Outside the top 5, he will win leagues and feed families. Make sure to hit that like button as well as we get into it. It shows me you like the content, but the #1 guy here, hottest take, honestly, we're going with #1, is going to be Jerry Jeudy. He is our first player. He finished as the wide receiver 12 last season, and now is going all the way down as the wide receiver 37 in round 5 to 6. That is insane. I understand Jerry Jeudy has some controversy, not the best quarterback play, but that's going behind guys like Jordan Addison, likely going to be suspended a few games, behind guys like Rome Odunze. They just drafted Luther Burton. He's probably the wide receiver 3 right now, and also Joe Mixon. They also just drafted more competition. That's a conversation for another day. There might be not one single wide receiver 1 that you can get this low in drafts that has 0 target competition. There is one more wide receiver 1 in this video later you're going to want to watch, because I guarantee you he is at an insane value. Back to Jerry Jeudy, the Browns just added Deontay Johnson. That's about all they have for wide receiver competition, and guess what? They signed him to a contract with 0 guaranteed money. Deontay Johnson could not touch grass, and it wouldn't matter for this team. Last year he was with the Ravens. He didn't want to go on the field because it was too cold. That shows you all you need to know. He's not going to be any real target competition, even if I really do believe he is still good like he was on the Panthers. Outside of him, they have Cedric Tillman and Jamari Thrash, 2 guys that have never really proven themselves. We do like Cedric Tillman, likely because of how good Deshaun Watson was in passing volume. He was #1, about 40 passing attempts a game. I don't expect Cedric Tillman to outperform Jerry Jeudy. Now, Jeudy did have a higher utilization at the wide receiver position than a lot of top guys last year, like Amon-Ra, like T. Higgins, like Terry McLaurin. Obviously, he's not better than those guys, but the utilization was there. And if we dive deeper into these stats, from week 9 and on, he was 4th in targets, 3rd in yards, and 7th in fantasy points per game at 19.2. Wide receiver 6 overall. Now he has 3 better quarterbacks than Deshaun Watson was. I trust all of these guys. He has Kenny Pickett, he has Joe Flacco, he has Shedeur Sanders, anybody he could possibly want, even Dylan Gabriel. Now, people will make the case. Jameis Winston is not the starting quarterback. Again, he was throwing 40 passes a game. Jerry Jeudy is going to be a bust because that pass volume isn't there. I don't completely agree with that. Those numbers, while it is true Jameis Winston was a high passing volume quarterback, Joe Flacco is probably going to start out this season, and he's not much different as far as a philosophy of quarterback that he is. And this offense is going to be way better, hopefully, because they actually have a running game now. They just invested in the run game in the draft. They got Quinshon Judkins. They got Dylan Sampson. He also gets to play the Bengals week 1, which we know their defense is absolutely atrocious. There will be a lot of value inflation after week 1. So if your league likes to trade, you can get him at wide receiver 37, 36 in round 6, and then flip him for a top guy after people see, okay, he was wide receiver 12 last year, and he's still having these good games. Maybe he has value. Either way, luckily, even if your team doesn't trade, you're not out of luck, because you can make sure to leave your draft with the best possible player at every single round and make the best roster possible by using the app that we created. It has a tool where you can sync your live draft in real time, and it'll give you every single advanced player metric that you can't get on any other website or app, based all on years of machine learning data and real analysts behind everything. If you guys want to try that out, it's free. Use WalterPicks, try code Avery inside the app, and check out everything they have. Pre-draft sync tools. They also have regular season waiver wire information, start sit tools, as well as a trade analyzer that you cannot get anywhere else. But the second player here that is going absolutely insane in 2025, it's going to be Chase Brown. Now, he's going as the RB13. That seems kind of high for what he is, especially considering he came on the scene pretty much out of nowhere last year. But I have him as my RB8. Like, this is still too low. Above guys like Jonathan Taylor, above guys like Bucky Irving, even Derrick Henry, I could get behind Chase Brown over him. The #1 reason for this is because he survived the NFL draft. And what I mean by this is that the Bengals went out and did not grab any running backs in the draft. The only guy they got was an undrafted free agent after the fact. That shows that this team and us as fantasy managers can trust Chase Brown. This, again, shows that we don't need to worry. Last season, he finished as a top 15 running back despite being the RB47 in touchdown rate. So there is a ton of positive regression growth that we can see and expect from him. And if we isolate his statistics from week 9 on, when he became the starter for the Bengals, until week 17 when he got injured, he was the overall RB5 with 151 carries, RB2 in targets, and the RB3 in fantasy points per game in that isolated stretch of games, which we can honestly expect for the 2025 season. Those statistics alone are better than guys like Jahmyr Gibbs and Devon Achane from last year. The numbers are not lying, and possibly the best part about all of this is if you are in a PPR league, the Bengals defense is still relatively lackluster, and the pass volume will continue to be great. They were number one in that in the NFL last year. I don't expect why that should change. Chase Brown would have been the overall RB1 in fantasy football in targets if he started the entire season. But if you're somebody that does love to stack in fantasy football, I will give you a 2-for-1 in this part of the video. 2 guys you should be targeting. Make sure to leave your draft with one of Drake May or Stephon Diggs. Now, before you click off this video, and I understand the hate here because the Patriots are not a great franchise as of right now, look at their draft value. Drake May is going as the quarterback 19 in round 10. That pretty much is free. I like that. Then we have Stephon Diggs as the wide receiver 46 in round 9. In what world are you finding a clear-cut wide receiver 1 with 0 target competition, mind you, that low in drafts? It's not possible. Even if the Patriots were the worst team in the NFL and finished with 0 wins, Stephon Diggs is still as close as you can get to guaranteed to beat that wide receiver 46 value. That it's easy. There's a 100% chance that he leads this team in targets. Hunter Henry was the leader in that last year. No wide receivers. Again, competition, we're able to do that. As bad as that wide receiver core was, they upgraded it with Stephon Diggs. They brought in a few rookies. For the record, the Patriots, at least as of recent, cannot draft successful wide receivers. I mean, Jalen Polk, I'm not even going to get into that. I don't have high hopes that these rookies are going to outperform Stephon Diggs and make him a bad value in fantasy. And that is going to help Drake May as well a ton, especially when you account for the offensive line upgrades they made in the offseason in the draft. But the number one reason why Drake May is a guy that we actually do need to be targeting is because he averaged over 17 fantasy points a game when he was healthy. And most importantly, he was the quarterback 5 in rush yards. He's locked in with that to give you at least 3 to 4 fantasy points a game on top of whatever touchdown upside he does have for the rushing ability. That's pretty good. If you stack those 2 players statistically, you have an increased boom chance per week by 3%. Now, how often are the Patriots offense going to boom? That's another question. One of those guys, though, is going to help you absolutely crush your league. But the final player here you've been waiting for, if you skip to this part of the video, I do not blame you. This quarterback will decimate his ADP, and that is going to be Bryce Young. So let's start with context. Number 1, he finished as a quarterback 20 last year after being benched for 5 games. That was not pretty. He started the beginning of the year absolutely atrocious. Then he completely did a 180. From week 8 on to the end of the season, he was the quarterback 12, averaging 18.6 fantasy points per game, 15 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. That is not bad by any means, but it gets better because he finished as the quarterback 2 in the last 3 weeks of the NFL season. Now, we do have to be realistic. You can't isolate the last 2-3 weeks of the season and say he's the best quarterback of all time. And the offense is still lackluster. We have to be honest, as far as star power goes, it's still one of the worst in the league. But he did go through and upgrade with Ted McMillan in the draft. Again, offensive line is decent. It's not great. And another year under Dave Canales as the head coach. The offense should improve just that much. And if he was able to finish as a quarterback 12 when he was healthy, the quarterback 24 draft value that he's at right now going in round 12 should be the absolute floor for Bryce Young. The risk to reward ratio is absolutely there because there really is no risk that low in drafts. He has rushing upside, but that is going to finish this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one coming very, very soon.